This regular meeting of the Wetzel County Board of Education is called to order. We begin with the Pledge of Allegiance led by Mr. Yeager, followed by the invocation led by Ms. Bonner. Anyone not wishing to participate may stay seated.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear God, thank you for watching over us as we are here tonight to try to do what's best for the students of Wetzel County. We thank you for the people that are in our audience today that are going to be recognized and for what they're doing for our country. And please watch over us as we continue to fight the virus. Amen.
Thank you all for being here tonight. First item on our agenda is delegations, but we have none tonight, so we'll move on to our recognitions. First recognitions tonight are our military honors for our military grant recipients. We've been doing this now for a little while, and we are very blessed to have this relationship with McCool-Smith attorneys that have been providing our students that from Wetzel County that go in and serve in the military to grant them this $3,000 to help them as they come out of their basic training, and we have honored several in relationship to that. And tonight these two guys are special to us, and when I say us, I mean my wife and I, and to our Peyton City Band family that's out there in the hall as well. They were, well, Jake, since he was in 7th grade, I think that was the year we came on board with the band, and Damien came along a little later, but they were great assets to us in the band, and I know they're great assets to the National Guard as well. And so it's my honor to be able to, and privilege to be able to honor them tonight. And so we'll start with Jacob Bolin. If you come forward and receive your check, and Mr. Cook, you're welcome to speak as well. Relates to this tonight.
Go out here, Jake. Come on up front. You may have some questions also. You guys want to come up and get your picture taken and knock that out at the same time? Sure. But both the recipients are receiving $3,000 from McCool-Smith. These young gentlemen volunteered, to go in the military, and he went through his boot camp. He went through military occupational school. So his specialty is, are you an MP?
No, we're both Black Hawk mechanics.
That's pretty cool. Black Hawk mechanics. There we go. You guys want to?
Yeah.
Come in. Something's wrong.
You see everybody go back.
No, I cannot see Mr. Castillo. There you go.
You're supposed to say
If you can't see me, I can't see you. All right, 1, 2, 3. Again, 1, 2, 3.
I was smiling, by the way.
And
Certainly,
let's bring Damien up here and get his
Damien
picture
Britton,
taken.
if you would come up as well.
You guys will be joining the Hall of Honor over here on the side. Step up. Damien's also going to be a Black Hawk mechanic. That's pretty cool. What made you guys choose that direction?
Sounded cool. Aviation. Cool.
Okay, you ready, Mr. Cook?
Mhm.
1, 2, 3. Again, 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you both.
Thank you. You guys, you want to talk a little bit about your experiences as far as your boot camp and then training, where you did that at a little bit.
Well,
And,
we both went to Fort Jackson, did our basic training there, and then we moved to Fort Eustis, and we were stuck there for a little over a month before we were able to start classes. COVID has everything backed up, but while we were there, we learned our jobs, and then we finally got home. We left in the middle of May, got back right at the end of December, so right before Christmas, so it was pretty nice to get back then.
Awesome. You have anything, Damien?
Well, I actually left a week after Jake. I was pretty fortunate that the way it worked out, when you first get to Fort Eustis, we were in a holding company. So you stay there for a little bit before you start classes, and then it just happened to work out that I would graduate the same day as him, even though I got there a week after. So I lucked out with that one.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations to both of you. I know you've been outstanding students here in Wetzel County in order to get the secret clearance that you actually have to have in order to work on those Blackhawks. So I know a little bit about that myself. So that's pretty cool. I know that you don't have any closets in your background, and that money's going to go to whatever you want. So enjoy that, and then get in touch with me later this week, and we'll take care of the lawyers there. But again, thanks to McCool Smith, trial lawyers out of Texas that are providing this for our students that graduate here and go on to in the military. And once they do that and come back, they provide me with a picture that we put it on the wall of honor, and provide them with a little kickback there to support whatever hobbies you may have. So.
I have a feeling some motorcycle parts are involved.
Definitely.
So and these guys, and they're both very good friends too. So that's kind of cool that they were able to kind of share
Work that out.
National Guard experience as well.
So thank you, guys.
Next on our agenda, in terms of recognitions tonight.
Mr. Malloy? No? Okay.
We're okay? Okay. So next on our agenda tonight for recognitions is the Peyton City High School Band. They were awarded this year the West Virginia Blue Division Grand Champion Band. This is the third time out of the last 4 years that they have won this award. And truthfully, if I'm able to speak boldly here for a second, the only reason they're not 4 in a row is because they weren't allowed to go last year. And so anyway, they've been very well led by a wonderful lady, who I've been very blessed to be around for quite a while. So Mrs. Price, if you'll come in first, and if you would, I can't see who's out there, and so if you would introduce each of them and let them each step in.
Sure.
We have one thing for the whole group, but if you would
Sure.
announce each of them and let them come in and be
All right,
recognized.
everybody call your name, come in, okay? Senior Serenity Strother. Crane.
Serenity, keep coming like towards the mic.
So where's my drum? Will McGinnis.
Come on down, keep coming.
Courtney Trainer.
Come on, you can do it.
Aaron Thorne. Fallon Bankers. Andy Woodbridger. Brenna Clark. Dalton Hayes. Aaron Trader. Izzy Anderson. Well, we have several at basketball, wisdom teeth, wrestling. Not quite half.
Izzy and Liddy, if you guys would come like towards the front here a little bit.
Even if you get down on your knees a little, come on, don't be shy. You guys like each other. Get down here.
Well, you haven't been to rehearsals, but anyway.
All right, scoot in. All right, and Mrs. Price.
Jump in there.
Mr. Price, you get up there and
Well,
recognize.
I'll let them get that one there first.
Okay, no.
See everybody?
A little bit more, a little more compact. There we go.
See those eyebrows?
Now I can see you. 1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3. Okay.
Mrs. Price, if you come, board members, you come up and let's get one picture with at least Mrs. Price and the certificate here.
Sorry, I didn't bring your instruments.
Some of them will be on the 25th.
Yes, nice.
We'll do it just.
Board members,
yeah,
come
not-
on in here.
Yeah, no, come on over here, just do it this way.
Okay.
And instead of I got the
For
one with
Deborah.
the man.
All right.
Get one of Mrs. Price real quick since we're in crowd spaces.
We'll do,
Take the picture.
Yeah.
We can be here in front of you. You're taking the picture. We're not more than.
Okay. Mrs. Cooley, Mrs. Connor. All right. 1, 2, 3. Again, 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
And board members, if you'll indulge me just for a minute, because these are our kids, right, Deborah and I, and so if, let me just, because I think sometimes it's hard to understand, what does this mean? That they're the Blue Division State Champion band, marching band. Band's hard, because you understand it in sports, it's pretty simple, it's single A, double A, triple A, and you have a tournament, and the winner's the winner. West Virginia State Legislature, a few years back, declared that the West Virginia Marching Band Invitational held in Charleston would be the official state championship. So it is an official event sanctioned by the state. It's by band size, and so the Blue Division are bands that are 40 members and smaller. There were 25 of those bands that they competed against in Charleston. They won everything. There was not a single class or divisional award given that they didn't win. They won them all. And so that's an accomplishment. In fact, the honor band, the best band of the day there, didn't even do that in their division and class. So it's pretty cool to be able to say that they're the only band, and historically we don't know of any other group that's done that in Charleston as yet, looking back. So they're very proud of them. Coming through COVID, bands across the state are struggling, but not this group. This group stuck with it and stayed with it and came in the summer, dying to get back to normal band camp and all that kind of thing, and they just plowed right through it. We didn't know what to expect, but they just worked tremendously hard, and so it's just been a great honor. Besides the state championship, they were also the third runner-up in the inaugural Governor's Cup this year. To give you a little bit of insight to that, the Governor's Cup had 5 winners basically. Of those 5, 4 of them were AAA schools. They're the only school of any non-AAA size that was a winner within the Governor's Cup race. They are the smallest school by enrollment that even competes in the state of West Virginia. So just wanted to give you a little bit of the numbers background to understand this is an extremely accomplished group, and they deserve all the recognition that they've been given, and I love them all. So thank you all for coming tonight. All right, if you guys want to be entertained, you can stay. Otherwise, you can go home.
Congratulations, guys. Thank you. Nice job.
And I did skip one, and I apologize. I realize I did that. I apologize. But there are one other set of awards we want to give tonight. But I wanted to let those students. No one was injured, and Mr. Brooks. But I wanted to let those students get recognized and be able to move on. And so tonight we're also going to recognize this Purple Star Awards. We've talked about this a little bit over the past several meetings with Mr. Cook. Real quick, if you just give us another brief.
In August, Ms. Wells came to me and said, I want you to look at this possible good situation there that we can start utilizing the state and communication to their many avenues to help families in military families that have people activated, military families that just are in need. Anything that has to do with military and any questions that they may have that they may come to us for, or we may come to them asking. And it's a support system that embraces the military families. I thought it was excellent. I thought it was something that we should have been doing, and we actually were doing a lot of the things that they had mentioned during when I took the training, and it made me really, concentrate on what's a good thing here. It is a good thing the possibilities to it all and getting more information. And us just basically sitting down one-on-one with those students that may be having issues because mom and dad or their brother or sister or somebody is deployed somewhere and they're in need of somebody to talk to and they don't know where to reach to. And it's up to us to find somebody to talk to. If we can't talk to them, then we have this tool to use to reach out for those families and get them support, whether it's our students or the mother or the wife or whoever. And it's just something that I was pretty passionate about when I read into it and did the training. And also a lot of the people out in our school system have families in the military and they got passionate about it. So I really didn't have problems getting volunteers to be points of contact in each one of the buildings. Every one of the buildings got involved. All but 2 are being recognized tonight. We were 2 away from being recognized in the state as one of the top 4 counties that started this. So there was only 3 other counties that got every school in their district an award, and we were 2 away. I do believe that next semester we will have all buildings up and they will all be receiving the Purple Star Award, which then hopefully the county will be recognized. But the main thing is that we have another avenue to reach out and help military families. And that's why I really would like to award these banners that came from the state here just a couple of weeks ago. And they're pretty nice, and they also have a certificate. And each school has a point of contact. They didn't necessarily, I don't know if everybody's gonna be here tonight, but I know that I've got a couple of those people that have been working very hard to make sure that their building is being recognized and that they're taking care of those students and those families that are in need of anything it has to do with the Purple Star Award and helping arriving and getting recognitions. And I'm blubbering all over the place here. But I appreciate you guys that have been involved in this and making sure that this has been successful. And it's just another tool, I know that, to reach and help students and help families. But it's something that West Virginia should have done a long time ago, and they just started it, and I thought it was really neat. So that's where we are with that.
Thank you. And I appreciate your work as well on that. So you want to recognize?
Yeah,
I'll read them off here.
Read them off, and if
somebody
there's
here
a
that
point of contact here for that building, please come up and receive your award.
So those who will be recognized as the Purple Star Award, schools in Wetzel County for the 2021 through the 2024 school years: Hundred High School, Magnolia High School, and Maltz is here. New Martinsville School is one of ours.
I'm gonna stay up here and get pictures with the ones over here.
Appreciate it, it's an honor to represent my school and my community. Thank you.
And from Peyton City Elementary School, and Debbie Allen's here, and she comes to represent our military family. Peyton City High School will also be recognized, and Mrs. Price, if you come and take this back to Peyton City High School, please, if you want. Valley High School is also being recognized, and the Wetzel County Technical Education Center. So Mrs. McPherson, if you would come around and receive this as well. Encourage all our schools to finish this process, and let's get them all involved in what I believe to be a very worthy program.
Everybody turn, and you guys want to jump in here?
Nick, go ahead. I think there's enough of you there.
Now I'll jump back.
Oh, okay.
We're tall. We're tall.
Hey, short people up front.
All right. Okay.
Why is it always smiling?
1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3. I see it in your eyes. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you, guys. I do appreciate it, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you all again for the work that relates to to that worthy program. I believe that is all of our recognitions this evening. Again, I want to thank all those who were able to come and participate in that. It is one of the positive things that the board gets to do, to be able to recognize the good work and good things that are happening. The next item on our agenda tonight is the superintendent's information, and I did fail to mention at the outset of our meeting, but I'll mention it now, that Mrs. Wells a bit under the weather, and so not able to be present in the boardroom today, but she is here via, is that Teams or through a Teams connection. And so, Mrs. Wells, is there any information at this point that you would like to share?
Thank you all very much. I'm sorry that I cannot be there tonight. I do hear a little bit of feedback here, so if I talk too slowly, that is why. The one thing I want to say is it's so different watching a board meeting from my office at home than it is from actually being present in the room. I've always been proud to be a part of Wetzel County Schools and to be part of the meetings, especially superintendent. What an honor. But when I watch it from afar, I think of what people watching these meetings, either during COVID when they watch them live, or now when they watch them after the fact. If someone was looking for a school system for their students to attend and they watched our board meetings, wow, how proud they would be and how eager they would be to get their students in our system simply by looking at the recognition that we give at the beginning of these meetings. We have one of the smallest districts in the nation. We are very rural by nature. We have 3 of our 4 high schools are among the 10 smallest schools in the state. And yet, look, the first thing we did was honor 2 American heroes. They came, they were so well-spoken, so forthcoming in what they do, and they didn't hesitate to go to the call of duty when they felt that need was there. And then we honor a band, a small but mighty, the best little band in the land from Peyton City High School. And I think about how hard it is in a small band to hide. You cannot. Everybody in a small band has to know their parts. There is no hiding. You have to be tight, and to win the kind of honor that they have won repeatedly, and to do so against AAA competitors, and to be in the major spotlight at the state level is beyond compare, and a fantastic honor in itself. I'm a well-known band geek. Always have supported the arts, and Peyton City High School Band is the real deal. They're amazing. Then we move to the honoring of our schools who have so much on them, and we all know that our schools, public schools, are a microcosm for our society, and they take care of any and all people that come through their doors, and even any and all people who don't come through their doors but are affiliated with our students and with our community. And we have our schools so dedicated to making sure that our military families are protected, are respected, are given dignity. And then I have an assistant superintendent who has served tours overseas and has seen horrific combat, and has come back and served us with honor. And I'm just so proud to be part of Wetzel County Schools tonight. And I want to say that before I just make a brief announcement about the next board meeting that we have. On January 24th, we will be holding an induction ceremony for our teacher leadership framework groups. That induction ceremony will be held at the Wetzel County Technical Education Center. It begins at 5 o'clock prior to the board meeting. I would like for everyone to please be there at 5 o'clock and honor our people that have taken the 2-year commitment to be part of our teacher leadership framework groups. We are bringing their entire families in. This event will be catered by the Covered Bridge Bakery out of 100 High School. I've already talked to their student simulated workplace foreman or head chef. I'm not sure what her title is, but she was on the meeting with her teacher and me on Teams, and they came up with a fantastic menu. We are going to have the Peyton City Jazz Band as well as the Peyton City Elementary Choir entertaining us. We will have a Master of Ceremonies from the FFA from Pine Grove, the Pine Grove chapter of the FFA Valley High School. And I've asked Mr. John Smith, I'm waiting for a return from him, and I'm sure that I will get it, to have someone from his FFA chapter speak to us on, and to the group on leadership. Because we have the goals, our trade's going by, because we have the goals of instructional leadership and family engagement, as I said earlier, we are bringing the families of these recipients in, or these participants in, so that they can be part of our efforts to begin this teacher leadership framework group, and because we recognize that when you are an educator, you are not an educator in isolation. You need the help of your family, and they are so important. So we'll have them there as well. This will all take place between 5 and 6, and of course, at the beginning of the board meeting at 6 o'clock, we will then formally recognize those people who have agreed to be part of this year commitment. We will formally recognize them at the board meeting, and then we will allow them and their families to go home. The meeting will take place out of the Wetzel County Technical Education Center. So without further ado, I'd like to thank Mr. Cook for taking the reins today. To all of my staff there, the county office, and my principals for doing such a fine job. If you'll notice, we are wandering into some territory with COVID numbers, but our people are on top of it, and we will keep you guys apprised as things change. And if there are no further questions, that's all I have.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda then is superintendent's recommendations. The first recommendation is to approve the minutes from the December 13th and the January 3rd special meeting. Is there a motion?
So moved.
It's been moved to accept the minutes from the regular meeting from December 13th and the special meeting on January 3rd. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Has been moved and properly seconded. If there are no questions, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Minutes have been approved. The next item on the agenda then is the personnel matters. Board members, you've received the agenda and have those listed before you. Are there any questions that require?
Do we have a replacement for the boys basketball coach at Short Line School?
I've got somebody, yes. Still waiting I think it's coming down this week, but there's been somebody out there working with them.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know, whether they're able to practice and play.
They've been able to continue practicing.
Any other questions? Not hearing any, is there a motion?
I move for the approval of superintendent's recommendations as outlined under personnel matters.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
It has been moved and properly seconded to accept the superintendent's recommendation on personnel matters. Again, if there are no questions, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? They are approved. Next item on the agenda are routine matters. There's some requests to use facilities, some out-of-state trips that need approval, as well under routine matters, and some chaperone issues as well. Board members, are there any questions?
I move for approval of the superintendent's recommendations under routine matters.
It has been moved to accept routine matters under superintendent's recommendation. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Has been moved and properly seconded. Again, are there any questions as it relates to any of those routine matters? Not hearing any, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item on our agenda tonight then is the treasurer's report. And Mr. Lancaster.
The only thing I have for you this evening, nothing under item B, but item A, I'm asking for approval for payment of bills for the month of December, which you've already received.
Are there any questions, board members, as it relates to the treasurer's report, payment of the bills from the month of December? Not hearing any questions, or is there a motion?
Mr. President, I move that we accept the treasurer's report.
Has been moved. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Has been moved and properly seconded to accept the treasurer's report approval of payments for the month of December. Again, if there are no questions, not hearing any, all in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is first reading of a series of policies. As we repeatedly come back to the board on many occasions and talk about the fact that we have been working now for well over a year in trying to revise and update our policies, and Mr. Barkus has spearheaded that work, working with our legal counsel to just in many senses clean up the policy and make our policy manual in some ways a little trimmer. When there's duplicates and things that are already in state code or federal code, there's no reason to have a policy that we would have to change if the state code changed and those kinds of things. And so we've been working diligently on that. Board members, you've received all those revisions and changes, and they have been publicly made available as well for any who had questions concerning them. So are there any questions concerning any of those policy revisions, deletions, or changes?
I just want to make a comment that Mr. Price and I are both on the policy committee, but thank goodness for people like Mr. Lancaster that came to the meeting with us to do these financial things, because there was a lot that I did not have the knowledge background from that he did have for us, so I appreciate that. And it's been a lot of work for everybody, and Mrs. Simmons and Mr. Marcus, so appreciate the help with that.
Thank you. And this was because it did deal with the financial aspects of things. It was a heavy lift, and so I do appreciate all the work. Again, are there any questions then concerning any of these revisions or changes and or deletions? This is first reading of these policy changes then. Is there a motion?
I'll move.
It has been moved to accept the changes and deletions upon first reading these deleted and revised policies. It has been moved. Is there a second?
I'll second.
It has been moved and properly seconded. Again, if there are no questions, not hearing any, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? They have been approved upon first reading. Are there any committee reports this evening? And again, you just got handed the policy committee's report in terms of those policy changes, so we don't have anything else. And once we start moving on to the next section, once we complete this one, we'll talk about that then. Not hearing any other board member committee reports then. Next on the agenda are other items. Mrs. Wells, did you want to talk a little bit about West Virginia Support and Accountability tonight, or is there anything specific we needed to address? I know in your absence it's a little bit more difficult.
Mr. Price, right now I don't have anything specific I'd like to add. I know that Mr. Houston, if he is there, may want to talk a little bit about a few of the assessment items, but I personally do not have anything.
Okay, so any of our directors that are here, if you have things that pertinent that you'd like to share with us, I'll be glad to accept that. And so I'll reverse my order here and just start. Kirsten, you got anything?
I do not.
You know, Mr. Houston, you go.
She's mentioned assessment items.
Okay.
I've just been working on,
Okay.
getting things squared away for the spring assessments, for alternative assessments in particular this week and last week. We have our ELPA, which is our English as second language assessments coming up in the spring. As far as benchmark assessments, Mrs. Stanford would tell you the same thing. Our window started today for our second benchmark with iReady, and that goes, I believe, the 24th. And the other thing in my window is on the 27th, we'll be reviewing our strategic plan, and it's going to be done on Teams this time around. I think that's all I have right now.
Thank you. Mrs. Stanford, you have anything?
I don't have a whole lot, but I'm sure you guys had heard where Head Start was trying to mandate vaccines for all the staff that was around any Head Start children. But it was blocked by the courts. So as of right now, we're good on that, because that would have created a lot of issues for us there. So that's the biggest thing I have.
Okay, thank you.
Hang on.
I'm sorry, Mr. Mark, I didn't see it.
Believe it or not, I have no news, and no news is good news.
It's always good on the tech front. Okay, Mr. Mark.
Just one thing, as you said, the first reading for fiscal management was tonight.
Attorney and I have already just started looking at the next section, which will be support services.
Support services is next, okay.
I do have something that's gonna require some discussion briefly. Carryover budget, you know, right now I'm beginning the process for next year's school budget. But before we start that, we need to close out our surplus from last year. And our traditional way of handling that, if we have any kind of a surplus, which we've been lucky enough and fortunate enough to have the past several years, we have that special budget work session. We usually have it in the morning. We'll sit down and talk about, you know, we've already been working behind the scenes diligently on this. We're pretty much ready to have this meeting now. There have been some hold-ups with some turnover in some important positions that matter to some of these decisions, facilities, things like that. So we've completed, we've got a list that we're ready to bring to the board. So it's just a matter of the board and superintendent and trying to get together and come up with a date you want to have that meeting. And like I said, traditionally, if it works, we can meet in here at whatever time in the morning and discuss those items, because it's our carryover from last fiscal year. It's available now. It's been sitting in our bank account. So I just want to know if there are any dates in mind that you want to have that, because we can be ready. Do you agree with me, Mrs. Wells?
I most certainly do, Mr. Lancaster, thank you.
And board members, if somebody has a better idea, but Mrs. Wells, maybe the best idea on that would be for maybe you to talk to your staff and figure out who you need here and some dates that are available for you and your staff, and then reach out to the board with maybe some options.
We could do that.
That work for everybody? Does that work for
Yes.
everybody on the board? I think that might be the best approach to that, so I appreciate that.
Will do.
Okay. Did I have Mr. Lancaster?
That's all I have.
All right, thank you. Mr. Cook, anything additional?
I'm good, really, as far as that's concerned. I'm dealing with civil rights questionnaires. I know that Mr. Yeager probably remembers that 10,000 questions, and I don't wanna have to go to to jail for that either, so. Starting to work on the calendar a little bit, so I'll be getting grouped together on that, here in the near future. I'm kinda in phase 2 of the RIFs and transfers. Reached out to the principals and they're gonna be letting me know what sections we're looking at possibly cutting if we have to go in that direction, so we're ready for that. And then the other thing was the carryover meeting that, Mr. Lancaster talked about, so that's where we are. And I think that's it.
Board members, any questions as it relates to any of those matters? Mrs. Wells, are we good then? Do you have anything additional?
I don't know if Mrs. McPherson or Mr. Kipp will have anything, I'm not sure.
Yeah, we checked with them, yes, we did.
Okay, I'm sorry,
Yes.
thank you.
Yeah, I'm sorry, you probably couldn't, I was pointing and it's hard to see probably on the video.
Yes, thanks.
Okay, you're welcome. So with nothing further then, on the agenda for the board tonight, I'll briefly mention that I did, go to school, in the state of Alabama. I have a lot of friends in the state of Alabama. And so before I close the meeting, I give them a rousing go Dogs. So the date and time of the next meeting set.
Mr. President.
I'm sorry.
Just from my own mind, this next meeting isn't the tech center.
It is at the tech. The next regular meeting of January 24th is set, and that is a regular meeting, but it will be held at the West Virginia, Wetzel County Tech Center, but it will be a regular meeting, and there'll be a banquet, if you will, reception, that's a better word, at 5 o'clock. So if board members, if we could all be there around 5 o'clock for that, and then the regular meeting at 6 on January 24th.
Okay.
Everybody-
We'll put that in.
I'll put that out,
Okay.
a reminder out.
And so with nothing further than before the board today, and that date and time set for the next meeting, I would move for adjournments.
And I'll second
It has been moved and properly seconded to adjourn the meeting. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned.